Okay then, shipmates, are you ready for our first phonics lesson of the week? Now, because it was Monday yesterday, we had our new story, didn't we? And we did a literacy job based on our story like we always do on a Monday, which means it's been 3 days since we looked at our sounds. So, like always, let's start off by seeing how many of our sounds we can remember. Now, I know we are so super whizzy at our orange sounds, at our phase 2 sounds. So we're going to practice them today, but then after today we're going to start just focusing on remembering our purple sounds, our phase 3 sounds, okay? But we'll always practice them on a Monday just to make sure they're all still ticking over in our heads, okay? So, super speed today. Let's whiz through our sounds. Most importantly, let's see how many of those phase 3 sounds are sticking in those heads of yours. Are you ready? Are you steady? Let's go. Oh. And this one is called a digraph. Well done. G. K. R. N, A, T, D, O, another digraph, K, and another one, A, P, I, M, K, O, A, V, W, X, J, Y, Z, Z. Hey guys, very, very good. We honestly are getting so brilliant at our sounds, aren't we? And just think of all of those letters that we've learnt to help us read and write. No wonder we're getting so brilliant at our reading and writing. Now, can you remember I said that we've only got digraphs and some trigraphs left to learn now? That means that all of the ways we've learned of writing sounds down that use just one letter, we've learned all of those now. There's no more to learn, okay? All we're going to focus on from now onwards are digraphs and some trigraphs. Now, we'll worry about trigraphs a bit later on when we get to them. This week is all about digraphs. First of all, can you remind me, what is a digraph? Oh, well done. This is a digraph, isn't it? And it's a digraph because we've got how many letters? 2, and they're making how many sounds? 1. Well done. We don't read it z, z, do we? We read it z, because those 2 letters are working together to make just one sound. Would these have sound buttons underneath them, or would they have a sound tile? Well done. They have a sound tile, don't they? And that shows us that they're 2 letters working together to make one sound. Well done. Now, all of the digraphs we've learnt so far, so we've got Z, O, K, S. All of these ones follow a rule, don't they? What is the rule for when we use these ones? Can we use them at the beginning of words? Well done. Never ever, do we? We never ever use these ones at the beginning of words. Okay. Any digraph where you've got 2 letters that are the same, and I know in this one the letters aren't exactly the same, but they are the same sound letter, aren't they? They're both a k, k and a s, s. So where it's the same letter or the same sound of a letter, we never use those digraphs at the start of a word. Where do we use these ones, guys? In the middle or at the end? Well done. Well done. We know that, don't we? We've gone over that lots and lots and lots. So those are the rules for these digraphs. But the new digraphs that we're going to start learning this week, They don't follow those rules, guys, okay? And that's because, you'll see as we learn them this week, they are made up of still two letters, because that's what a digraph is, isn't it? It's two letters making one sound. But the letters are different, okay? They're working together in a different way to these kinds of digraphs where they're the same, okay? So these ones follow slightly different rules. So I don't want you to get muddled with the rule that we've learnt so far and think, oh, well, I can't have a digraph at the start of the word. You can, guys, if it's one of these digraphs. When they're the same letter, that's when you can't have one. Okay, we'll make sure we go over that again and again and again, okay? I gave you a sneaky peek of our new digraph then. Let me show you again. So it's a digraph. So we know that these two letters are working together to make one sound. It would have a sound tile underneath it. Have a little look at it first of all, guys. Is there a letter in there that you recognise? Well done. We know this letter, don't we? This is an We've learnt this one. Have we ever talked about this one before? No, well done. Now you might know what this letter is called, but this isn't a letter that we've learnt on its own. And that's because this letter is really special. This letter is never, ever, ever on its own. It is always with its best friend, an okay? This letter is called a Q. Can you say that? Q. Well done. And Qs, like I say, are never on their own. They always have an with them. It's because they're best friends. They always like to be together. They're like that. They always like to be together. So that's why we haven't seen this letter before, because it doesn't make a single sound on its own. It's always in a digraph. Now, have a look at our Q and our Do you know what sound they're making? So we know that they're a digraph. What sound are they making together? Have a little look at this lady here. She's a queen. So what sound do you think this is? Have a quick think. Don't quit. Keep thinking. What does it make? Well done. It makes the qua sound. My turn. Qua. Your turn. My turn. Qua. Your turn. Well done. Qua for queen. Have a little think for me. Can you think of any other words that you know that have got qua in it? Quickly think for me. Don't quit if it gets too hard. Maybe if you get stuck, you could ask your grown-up a question and see if they know any qua words. What do you reckon? Well done. Did you spot some of the clues I gave you? Quick or quickly, question, quit, queen. They all use our new sound for today, which is qua. Well done. Let's think about our action then. So, for qua, the action that we make is we get our hands like this and we're going to make a duck's mouth. Why do you think we're doing a duck mouth? What noise do ducks make? Well done, they go quack, quack. So this is to remind us that our digraph for today is making the qua noise because quack starts with qua. Can you show me? Qua, qua, qua. Your turn. Nice. My turn. Qua, qua, qua. Well done. Now, like always, you've got the link that you can click on if you want to go and listen to the Jolly Phonics song to help you remember today's digraph as well. Okay, now, before we explore some words that use today's sound, let's just think about how we write this digraph down. Now, this letter, we know, don't we? We've practiced this one. We know how we write an down. But this letter, like I said, we've never practiced this one before. So let's have a think about how we write a Q down. Now, does it remind you of any letters that we know already? Well done. It's a bit like a G. It definitely starts like a G, but the bit at the bottom is where it's different, and that's where we have to be careful, okay? If we write a G by mistake, it would completely change the sound that the letters are making. So we have to make sure we do our Q or our Q accurately. Are you ready? So, like our curly caterpillar letters, we start at the top and we curve around, okay? All the way around, all the way up to the top. And then we come all the way down like we do if we're going to make a G. But instead of making a tail, we do a bit of a slanty line. We do a zigzag line back up the other way. And that's our Q. And then if we were writing our digraph, we'd put our afterwards. Okay? Let's have a look again then. Start at the top like a curly caterpillar letter. Curve all the way around, all the way down to the bottom. Slanty line up. Did I take my pen off for this letter? Well done. This is one of those keep your pen on the page letters. And then we follow it up with our Okay. Get those fingers out then, guys. On your hand, on the table, on the carpet, in your book, on your grown-up's back. I don't mind where. But have a little practice for me. Can you write our Q digraph down? Okay. And careful with your Q. Make sure you've got the slanty line going away rather than the tail you'd have on a G. Okay. Start at the top. Curve all the way around. Straight line down and stop. Slanty line up and stop. Okay. And then it's your afterwards. You do some practicing for me, guys, just while I wipe this board off. See if you can do me 3 lovely digraphs for our Q sound. Okay. How did you get on? Have you done it? Well done. Now, like always, if you're finding it tricky, you can always go back and practice some more a bit later. Or if you think you need to get your hands warmed up, do some of those fine motor skills jobs we talked about last week, and then have a go at your writing and see if it's easier to do once you've got your fingers moving today. Okay. Now for today's focus, we're going to focus on reading our new digraph in a word. Now, digraphs are trickier when we're reading them because we have to remember that it's 2 letters working together to make one sound rather than reading them as separate letters. Does that make sense? So, for example, if I was going to read this word, I have to remember that if I see these 2 letters together, it's a digraph and not single letters. So I'm not going to read it it, Q it, because that's not a real word, is it? That doesn't make sense. If I read it and I remember it's my digraph though, it, quit, I can read the word and it makes a word that makes sense. So this is why our digraphs need lots and lots of practice. We need to be able to spot them in words to help us read them accurately. And it's much easier to spot when I just hold a flashcard up. It's easy to spot that that's a digraph, isn't it? The harder bit comes spotting those digraphs in words. So that's what we're going to practice today. So we use our sound tile, don't we, to show that we've got a digraph. And then we use our sound buttons for our single letter sounds. It, quit. Done. Okay, let's have a go at this one then. Okay. So you can see you've got your sound tile. So that's telling you it's a digraph. Well done. So what does our new digraph make? What sound does it make? Quiz. 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 Well done. Quiz. Good job. Okay. Let's try this one. Now, what do you notice about this word? Look, we've got a digraph at the beginning and then a digraph at the end. Now, let's just try out and see what would happen if we'd forgotten that these two letters are a digraph together. What would it say? It would say quack, 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 quack. Is that a word? No. Now, if you read a word and it sounds like that and it sounds a bit funny, use that as a way of reminding you, oh, it doesn't sound right like that. Maybe there's a digraph in there. And then you can have another look and think, oh, yes, these two sounds work together to make one sound. It's a digraph. So that's always a good tip, guys. If you read something and you think, oh, well, that doesn't sound right, check that there's not a digraph in there and you read it as a single sound by mistake. So what does this word actually say, guys? It says quack, quack, quack. Well done. Quack. Like our action for this week. Quack. Okay. Try this one. Oh, I've taken away the sound tiles this time. So remember, you're looking carefully for any digraphs. You have a go first and then we'll check it together. Well done. Are you ready to check? Let's have a go then. Qua, ick, qua, ick, quick. Well done. Who spotted the digraph at the end there? Good job, guys. Okay, are you ready for a superstar challenge? What about, we'll do it this way. What about this one? Now, this word has got lots and lots of sounds in, but we still approach it in the same way, don't we? We still just sound it out and then blend the sounds we can hear together. So what have we got? We've got ooh, I, k, I, d. Ooh, I, k, I, d. Liquid. Gosh, that's a big word. Can you say it? Liquid. Does anybody know what liquid is? Liquid is the scientific name, the fancy name for things like water and the sea and bubble bath. They are all liquid. You can pour them all. That's the sciencey name for those kinds of objects, those kinds of materials. Okay. Now, we've done some practicing together. You're going to go and carry on practicing for your job today. If you click onto the next card, I've put the rules for the game that you're going to play for me today. You're going to play a game of walk the plank. Now, because we're all pirates this week, we need to do piratey things. And pirates love making people walk the plank. So you need to find something around your home that you can use as a plank. It might be a long bit of wood outside in your garden. It might be that you cut yourself a big long bit of string and use that as your plank. It might be that you line some cushions up in a long row and have that as your plank. I don't mind what you use, and I don't mind if you do it inside or outside, but you need a long bit of something to be your plank. And your job is to try and walk across that plank, keeping your balance and not falling in the sea, okay? Now the twist is that to be able to walk the plank today, first of all, you've got to be able to read a word using our new digraph, okay? So I've put some example words that your grown-ups could use to help you play this game. Your grown-ups need to make some word cards using those words, or you could make them. You could copy the words, couldn't you, and make yourself a word card. And then you are going to be the shipmate, and your grown-up is going to be the captain. And you have to say, Captain, Captain, can I walk the plank? And the captain says, Aye, my hearties, but only if you can read this word. And then they're going to hold up one of the cards that they've made, and your job is to try and read the word using our new digraph. If you can read it, so if you can segment it and blend it together, if you can read it, you get to walk the plank. If you can't read it, you have to stay where you are on the pirate ship. Now, once you've practiced the words that I've given you, why don't you swap over? You be the captain, get your grown-up to be the shipmate, and see if they can walk the plank as well. And of course, if you want to add words of your own or use the game to practice some of your other sounds, that is absolutely fine. You do whatever you'd like to do. Just be careful, no falling in the sea. Have fun, guys, and I'll see you after break for your maths lesson.